Hi, Dean. Can you hear me?
How are you doing? I can hear you well,
Yeah,
Ali. Yeah. Hi,
yeah, not
guys.
too bad, thanks. Not too bad. First question, I guess, how are the players today after what happened at the weekend?
Well, first of all, I think it's important that I just want to acknowledge and go on record as saying a massive thank you to Lee, first of all, for bringing me to this fantastic football club. It's something that I'll be forever grateful to him for doing. He took a chance on me nearly 4 years ago, and I've loved every minute. And we've had some incredible times together um, over that period. And ultimately, it's really sad how it's panned out. And I've no doubt about the fact he's going to go on and get another brilliant job in football. He'll deserve that. He's worked incredibly hard at this football club behind the scenes, working with every player individually and making sure everybody feels a part of something special. So I thought that was important that I went on record and thanked him. With regard to players, we had a good training session this morning. I spoke to them very briefly after the game on Saturday and asked them to take the weekend to try to sort of get this period through the mind. Some of the players have never been through this before. So it was important that they spent the weekend with the families sort of getting their head around the situation, because it is a shock to obviously a lot of people. So the truth is we've got a massive game in 48 hours and that's all we've got. So the full focus this morning was on training and making sure that we trained really bright, really well, and making, as I say, making sure the players are aware that although it's been a tough weekend, we have to think moving forward. We have to focus. No one's going to feel sorry for us. We've got 5 fantastic games left of this season, and our aim is to obviously finish the season on a high and try and win every single one of them.
How did you find out that Lee was leaving?
Well, there was a meeting following the game on Saturday. Mark Ashton came and spoke to the staff first of all, and then we addressed the players, and that's the first we heard of it. And then Mark very quickly asked me to take over until further notice. So, as I say, it was a huge surprise to everyone, and we move on.
And those are quite emotional moments, I would imagine, when you've been together as a group for such a long time.
Yeah, of course. And as I said there, Lee's built a fantastic working relationship with the players and all the staff as well. Every single player and every single member of staff has come to the football club under Lee's tenure. So, yeah, of course, as I said before, we've had some incredible moments together. We've had some real down times as well. And you build strong relationships. And, I know a lot of people have been in touch with Lee over the weekend and thanked him for what he's done for them. And as I say, it's the nature of football, unfortunately. It's the job that we all sign up for. Things like this happen, and as I say, we can't become a victim to it. We have to make sure that we're focused. And as I said, we've got a brilliant game in 48 hours' time, which we can't wait for.
The owner's remit for this season was always very clear to get into the playoffs. Was there any sense that a change might be imminent?
Oh, listen, Ali, I don't want to get into that. It was a disappointing. First of all, it was a disappointing result on the weekend. It was a game that we felt we could win, and it was a tight game, fine margins. And as I say, it was a disappointing weekend. But my focus now is on preparing the team. Mark Ashton has asked me to do that. I feel hugely honoured and proud to be asked to do that on behalf of the football club and the board of directors. And I'm going to give it absolutely everything I've got to make sure that we can try and get a win on Wednesday. That's ultimately all that matters. Is getting 3 points in the next game and getting some smiles on the faces of our supporters and getting the city feeling proud of the football team.
How long have you been told that you'll be in charge for?
Until further notice.
Right. And are you interested in it longer term? I have to ask.
Yeah, of course, I respect the question, Ali. And again, it's hypothetical. All my focus is on preparing the training session for tomorrow and getting our game plan right for Tuesday. If I allow my thoughts to drift, then that's not being professional. And I pride myself on my professionalism. And all my focus is on, as I say, making sure that we put a team on the pitch on Wednesday that can go and give absolutely everything for that shirt and for that badge and try and get a win.
Yeah, people may not remember you've had experience at the top of the tree before, haven't you, at Oldham? So, is this something that sort of comes naturally to you? Do you think?
Well, it was what, 4 or 5 years ago. It was completely different circumstances, I have to say. But no, I mean, for me, um, coaching is something that I've become really passionate about since I stopped playing the game. I absolutely love coaching and building relationships with people and trying to improve people. And that's the job of a coach in my eyes, is to empower the players to go above and beyond and be even better than they thought could possibly ever be. So, as I said there, the focus is on that. The focus is on continuous development. You mentioned earlier about results. Results have not been good enough, and we're all aware of that. Behind the scenes on the training pitch, we're trying to improve the players every day as players and as people, and that's the job of a coach, and that's how I see it, and that's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah. So will it be yourself and Jamie, or are you looking to add another person in as well? Maybe someone coming up from the academy to help out?
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Mac have worked together, as I say, for most of that period. We're comfortable in relationship. We'll be talking to people within the whole football club. A lot of people have been in contact already, and we've got a strong coaching staff behind the scenes, and I feel that we're ready for this game on Wednesday, and that's, as I say, that's all my focus is on.
And in terms of the players now, is there still a big motivation for these final 5 games, albeit the playoffs look a long way off now? Is that going to be one of the main challenges to ensure they don't switch off now?
I think there's lots of challenges, and we had a meeting this morning and addressed some of those challenges. And ultimately, these players that have arrived at this football club it's not just happened by luck. To become a professional footballer, particularly at this level, there's got to be a huge amount of professionalism. Take away the talent. They've got to give up so many things in their life, the sacrifice they go to, and they're hurting. The results have not been good enough, as I said. We're aware of that, and professional pride is on the line. There's no doubt about that. People are asking questions, and we tried to tap into their motivations this morning with the players. What is it what certain players that motivates them? It could be just going home after a game and feeling that pride of your kids or your wife or your parents, that you've gone and actually, done your best and won a game of football. It impacts so many lives. It's for the supporters. We talked about the fact that supporters, again, even though they're not able to be at Ashton Gate with us on Wednesday, they're forking out a hell of a lot of money online, and all the other stuff that they've done previous this season. We owe it to a lot of people, but ultimately the players owe it to themselves. And Lee would want them to go out and finish on a high this season. The season's not over. There's 5 games, and our aim, as I say, is to take care of the first one, and that's all we're thinking about.
Best of luck with it, mate. Good to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ali.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Dean, lovely to meet you here. I think my first question to you is that I can hear the passion that's in your voice. I just want to focus on you for a second. How excited are you with the opportunity for you to showcase what is your passion, sort of the coaching and the ability that you have to showcase it at this level?
Hi, JD. Well, I am hugely passionate about the job, and I think that's a fantastic thing to have in your personality. I'm very, very lucky to be involved in professional football, and I realise that every single day. And ultimately, it's using that to, as I said before, to make other people better and to make them believe that anything is possible. And the attention ultimately has to be on the players. They're the stars of the show. As a coaching member, we prepare them as best as we can. We try to help them in the private lives. We try to get them focused on winning a game of football and doing people proud. And ultimately, that's as I said before, that's what the job's about. And I'm hugely proud. There's no question, no doubt about that. I'm honoured to be asked by the football club to lead for this next game. And as I said before, it's really exciting.
I think it shows also your credit. This is the first time I've had a chance to interact, but I think it was credit to your personality as well. The opening statement that you made about your relationship with Lee and what he kind of means to you personally. I thought I'd just love to hear it again. Just look, what does he actually mean to you, and what have you seen in his tenure during at the club?
Well, first of all, his work rate is like nothing I've seen before, I have to say, and that rubs off on people. That desire to give absolutely everything of yourself to help somebody else is a fantastic trait to have again in your personality. And me and Lee's relationship goes back a long time, up and doing our coaching badges up in Scotland, and we built a relationship from there. And first of all, he took me to Holden Athletic, and that was a brilliant grounding, I have to say, as a young coach. And as I said before, I'm so pleased that and proud that he asked me to come to this fantastic football club. And as I said, I'll be forever grateful for him for that. Whatever happens in the future, he gave me the chance to come and work at this club at this level. So, very, very grateful to him. And as I said before, there's no doubt he's going to go and get another brilliant job within the game, because his profile, it all stacks up. And I've got huge belief in him, and it'll be a tough time for him, of course, because it's been a real sour end to his tenure at the football club. But I think it's one of them. Sometimes you sort of people look back and realise how much someone has given to a football club, and as I say, he gave his life to it, and that has to be hugely respected.
I know you're very hands-on. I can hear the passion. I could imagine you on the training field as well. But I ask you, did it feel a bit different, or did it feel weird at all today when you were leading the session? All of your ideas, all of your implements, all of your plans straight away?
Oh, it was a little bit different, of course, because me and Macca didn't have Lee by our side. But no, I mean, on a Monday sometimes anyway, previously in the season, it might be a time that me and Macca might drive that session and take that session anyway. So, no, as far as today's gone, that was fine. Obviously, preparing the team and picking the selection and all the stuff that comes with being the head coach is to come in the next couple of days. And said before, it's something I'm really looking forward to.
I have to ask, what are you sort of most excited about in terms of you've worked with these players, you know these players inside out, but what are you most excited about to try and get across, especially in these final sort of 5 games, especially?
I'm excited about the fact that we've got a game in 48 hours' time where the players are going to go out there and really express themselves, really give the best version of themselves on the pitch. And, as I said, it's been fine margins in recent games anyway. And I'm really looking forward to just seeing the players out there, giving it absolutely everything they've got for the shirt, with and without the ball. And as I said, doing everything they can to try and get a win. Once we get that next win, then confidence will build and we can look to the next one.
I think you speak about confidence, and that is probably the most important thing. If you ask any footballer, they'll speak over and over again about how confidence leads to momentum. Not winning a game at home since February, how do you kind of revamp the whole sort of mentality of the squad at this moment and say, look, you want to inject that confidence back in them in the final few games?
Well, I think that comes sort of both ways. That's not just me sort of pushing, that's all the coaching staff, but that comes from within as well. That's the players, and we spoke to the players this morning about driving it from within as a group. We can only be with the players for so many hours of a day, and they spend a lot of time together away from the pitch. So it's ultimately believing in themselves. I said before, the fantastic football, you don't get to come to the Championship at this football club if you're not a hugely talented footballer. And of course, confidence is huge. I agree with you. It's a massive part of any footballer's armoury. And we're trying little things to try and get them to just play with freedom. That little kid inside you when you was going out on the playground and playing with your mates. Of course, there's a lot more tactical things involved, and there's a lot more sort of defensive principles when you don't have the ball. But ultimately, it's about going out there and realising how lucky you are to be a footballer. It's a huge honour to be a professional footballer, and we say to them all the time, myself and Macca and some of the other staff, it goes so quick. Your career is over in a heartbeat, and you look back and you don't want to look back with any regrets. And they owe it to themselves first and foremost to go out there and give it absolutely everything. I've no doubt that they're going to do it. I'm really excited for it.
You spoke earlier about sort of your previous experiences, both as a first team and also as a first team manager as well. I wanted to know, as to within these final 5 games, and maybe me speaking to the competitive side of you as well, can you make yourself strengthen your sort of candidacy to be maybe a permanent position here?
I understand the question, JD, of course, but as I said before, if I take any focus away from this next game, it's 48 hours away. If you take your eyes off the ball in the Championship, you get a bloody nose, and I'm not prepared to do that. I'm too professional. I pride myself on my professionalism, and ultimately it's about, first of all, taking care of Tuesday morning training session, getting that right, getting the preparation right, and then Wednesday will follow suit. And that's all it is. It's making sure each day you get it right, and the next one leads to the next one, and all of a sudden you can go on, as you said there, you go on a little bit of a run, and that's all I'm thinking about.
Look, Dean, good luck for the final few games, and thank you so much for your time today, man.
Thank you. All the best.
Gregor, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, Dean. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, Gregor, yeah.
What did the club say specifically when they said they were going to make a change? What was the reason for it?
Well, as I said before, Gregor, it was a hugely disappointing afternoon on the pitch in terms of the result. It was a game that we thought we could win. It was fine margins eventually, and ultimately they've put their chance away. And following the game was a huge shock to everybody, and very, very disappointing, I have to say. And as I said before, Mark addressed the staff first of all, and then we went and addressed the players as a big group. And Mark asked me to to take over until further notice. And as I said before, I'm hugely proud and honoured that the club board of directors have asked me to be the man to step up, and I'm excited about the opportunity. It's not an opportunity I would have wanted it in different circumstances, I have to say, and that's life. It is what it is, and I'll give it absolutely everything I've got, and try and get a win on Wednesday.
Just wondered if it was specifically results driven, or whether it was league position in the table driven, or to maybe change the atmosphere at Bristol City.
As I said, Greg, all I'm thinking about now is the game. I understand the question, I do, and I respect it. And at the end of the day, my focus, I don't want to get into any nitty-gritty of anything. It's an opportunity now for the players to respond. Every time you lose a game of football, you want to respond in the next one and put some things right. And there's huge motivation within the group, within the players and the staff, to go and get a win and finish this season on a high. And that's absolutely everything that we're focusing on.
Have you spoken to Lee at all over the weekend or today even?
Yeah, we've been in touch over the weekend, yeah.
How's he doing? Because I think you mentioned that some of the players haven't been in this situation. I don't think Lee has been in this situation either, has he? He hasn't been sacked before.
Yeah, we didn't go into loads of detail, Gregor. We made some contact. I think it was important to do that. And as I say, we'll probably have some proper conversations over the next sort of coming days.
But he's doing all right, basically. He's okay.
Well, one thing is that Lee he's a fighter, really. He's a fighter, and he needs to feel really proud of the job that he's done over his tenure at the club. And I think one of the longest serving managers in the Championship at the time, and he's had a real good run as a manager, and from such a young age, don't forget as well. So I've no doubt in my mind he's going to go on and get another brilliant football manager's job.
Yeah, he's had plenty of Bristol City highs, and I think most Bristol City fans would recognise that he's done a good job, and nobody wanted success for Bristol City more than he did. We haven't seen any messages from any of the players or staff or anything on social media at all. I just wondered, is that sort of like a blanket sort of blackout or something, an internal decision at all? Because it just seems a little bit odd that with the job that Lee's done, that nobody has sort of paid tribute to him publicly at all.
I think that I always think personally. I mean, I've not gone out there on social media and put a message to. I don't even know his Twitter handle, but I've spoke to him privately. I think that's the respectful way to do it. I know a lot of players and staff have been in touch with him over the weekend, and some messages were exchanged. So, I think it's great sometimes when it's out there in the public for people to see. But this is a real. This has been a tough weekend for everybody, not least Lee himself. So I think people have gone about it in the most respectful way.
Just on the game for Hull, then, it looked like in a video the club put out today that Liam Walsh, Schmodix, Taylor Moore, Joe Morell have all been training. Is that right? Those guys are training at the moment. Is there any chance that any of those guys could come in and play because of the injury situation at Bristol City?
Yeah, we made a decision last week to get them guys back in and around the training ground for no other reason than to keep them fit, just in case. The rules are very clear within the EFL of you can only bring players, i.e. the ones you've just spoken about, into your sort of pool of players if you get, injuries and stuff. So if we drop below a certain number of players, so you saw Freddie Hines involved there on the weekend. So if we drop below a certain number of players through injuries and illness, we can bring players in. We don't want to leave ourselves short. We're just keeping our options open.
Just last one from me. It looked like Pedro Pereira was in training there as well. How's he doing? Is he close to a return at all?
Yeah, he's doing some light grass work at the moment.
Nicholas Eliasson, is he close?
We're monitoring Nicholas. He's got a sort of nagging Achilles issue, so we're monitoring him as we are with Casey Palmer. Casey's got a little quad issue, so again we're monitoring them too. We're just going to see where they're at fitness-wise, if they're fit enough to come into the squad or not.
Thanks, Dean.
Thanks,
nice
Gregor.
one, Gregor.
James, anything from you?
Yeah, please. Hi, Dean. Can you hear me okay?
I can, James, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. What's been missing this season from the team?
Well, we've not won we've not won enough games of football in recent times, of course, and it's been a real up and down season. It'll be one of them seasons that people look back on. I mean, we're going through such a weird time at the moment with the COVID, and of course that only came in towards the end of the season. But it's been a strange feel around because of that, I think. And yeah, as I said there, we've had some great moments, and at other times we've not managed to get consistent runs of results together, and that's something that we're looking to put right starting on Wednesday night, trying to put in a performance that ultimately gets us the 3 points, and then we move on from there.
What have you been sort of most disappointed that hasn't happened from yours, previously Lee's plans for the season? What hasn't sort of quite clicked?
Well, in recent weeks, obviously since lockdown, we've not managed to get the results that we thought we could get. A lot of people behind the scenes worked incredibly hard, and still are doing actually in this crisis of COVID that we've been through. And it was a real effort from everybody, not least the players themselves, to stay fit and stay motivated, because at one point, obviously, no one knew if the season was going to return or not. And as I say, there was a lot of work that went into that. And post-lockdown, we've not got the results that we thought we could get. The Blackburn performance was difficult to explain. We just didn't turn up on the day, and we got turned over. And then since then, we've just not managed to get the 3 points on the pitch, and that's the most disappointing thing, really, because the group of players that we've got, we feel that there's definitely more in them in terms of the points tally that we've got. So we can only affect the future. There's 15 points to play for, and 5 fantastic games for us, and really exciting. And as I said before, James, that's something that we're looking to get started on Wednesday night.
Yeah. What would you say your management style is?
After what have we had, 20, 36 hours or something? It's probably a question you could ask. You could maybe ask other people. For me, as I said before, my passion is improving the players and the staff around me, and trying to improve myself, and being an open-minded, never believing that I know all the answers, and trying to search for different ways to go about the job. It's a fantastic job to have, I have to say, and I'm very, very proud. And I like to build relationships with people. I like to get contact with people early when I start working with them, whether it's a player or staff, and try and find a common goal with them, and build that relationship strongly, and build that trust. Because I think if you can get that, then you've got a real chance of improving them, and they'll listen to you and learn.